we found that it almost doesn't really matter what is in your contract.
Yeah, they will find a way.
They will find a way, and not from a point of view that like we do a really bad job, we're horrible to the clients, and it's the right thing that the client should try and walk away, but almost you don't really know who a person is until they want to get out of a contract, and that's when they really show who they are.
But sometimes they're just the wrong fit, like they're just not the right client, and you want to part ways. But very often we get fired because we hit the ball out of the park, using the baseball metaphor, right? And the big client we lost, we scaled them from 300K a month in that spend to 1.5 million in May, like in a matter of 14 months.
And were you billing based on a performance, like, and also did you get stuff because your invoice got so big?
No, that wasn't. It was just internal politics. There was CMO number 4 in that period. There was the people who brought us in got fired like half a year ago, and I was sure that we would get fired along with them because we were associated with those people, and they just couldn't get rid of us because we were so good. And I'm not bragging. It was just like we lasted 5 months longer than I thought we would in that account, but they still, they decided to go with one of the fancy New York, agencies. So, I mean, it was not for the lack of performance. They're still happy. I'm still talking to them. I just recorded a little interview with one of their marketing guys, and like we're going to get the sign off on an amazing case study. How amazing we were in this account. So it's wasn't performance based. So if only I had this clause in the contract, if I could figure out how to make my ass not fireable, if we keep hitting the goals, right? So anyway,
I think it comes down
doing that.
Even though a contract is between it's between two businesses, or it's between two representatives of a business. Of each business, two people sign the contract, but ultimately it's between, you make a contract with a business, therefore the business is responsible for holding it up. But even though that's what the contract is, it's still a person-to-person relationship, and that's ultimately the reason why you lost that client. As far as as far as I understand, after the last few minutes, is that those people changed, and the new people who came in had a different vendetta or objective, or friends with a different agency, and I think that happens quite a lot.
It's slightly more complicated than this, but I'm gonna leave the details out to protect the guilty. There's some crazy politics that was going on there, which we had nothing to do with, but we're the ones who got sacked anyway.
We spoke to a prospect around October last year, who was like a referral from someone, and they said, "Oh, we do an audit and do a pitch and all that, but we're in contract till the end of the year." And we said, "That's great." First of all, we were very like, "Wow," because it's not often you hear a brand say, "We're in contract, therefore we can't leave the agency." Most of the time they'll just say, "We'll get rid when we want to get rid," and we'll just tell them. They then went with someone else at the end of last year. They didn't pick up, but now they're coming back on board. Now we spoke to them earlier today. We're probably going to do another pitch, and it's the same thing again. They're saying we're in contract with this new agency until December again. And it's not very often you find someone who, sticks to what is in the contract so much.
But that's the thing. Like very often the contract is there just to make them stop and think, and consider things, and slow them down. Like maybe the hammer is not gonna not fall on you, but this is gonna fall down a little slower. Because these guys, the way it started, we started with them a year and a half ago, we went month to month for a few months, and then like, well, we want a contract with you. They forced a contract with us until the end of the year. I'm like, all right, fine. So they insisted on it, right? Or rather, like, we'll up a contract with you. I'm like, send them a proposal for like quarterly renewal. They're like, no, we want it until the end of the year. It was like 7, 8 months. I can't remember how long. I'm like, sure. So I signed that. The end of the year arrives. They send me a notice that they're terminating the contract. They want a new one. They want to switch back to month. I'm like, well, we're getting fired. But then they just kept going like month to month for another 5 months.
Yeah.
Because like we weren't expensive. We were actually a much cheaper option than whatever else was out there that they would look at. Anyway,
It's
trying to figure out how to extend these things a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you can. And the interesting thing is, you try and understand what are the trends so that you can see them happening again. But because every person is different, that means every client relationship is different. Every scenario is brand new. You know, you always want to like repeat, see what the trend is so that you can understand it, but you can only control you. And that's the right thing to do. You can't control.
Usually what happens is the company switch ownership. You get acquired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had one client and got acquired for 155 million when public says. Like, we lasted a few months after the acquisition, but then got sacked anyway. But then there's no contract you can come up with that's going to survive an event like this anyway.
No.
And I've found working for small companies and corporate is that if you have yearly contracts in place, and then, as you say, the people that hired you, that they leave for whatever reason, is it then gets messy, because then it's like, who's got the best lawyers? Who wants to get wrapped up in that? And so, yeah, there are the advantages to having a yearly contract, but also, do you want to be like having your bandwidth tied up in legal disputes, and do you want to have that toxic client on your books when they want to leave? So
no.
My way of doing it, which I'm fortunate, because obviously with a freelancer, cash flow is easy, but just that monthly rolling contract. So like, if they want to leave, and like, I'm just like, yeah, fine. And rather than like having to get into contract disputes and legals, and or having this client that doesn't want to be with you. So I'd see pros and cons to both sides. It's just, how big's your legal team, and how much bandwidth do you want to spend on these?
I'm not getting entangled into legal. Like, if they pull out the lawyer, I'm like, go. Right. I'm not doing like,
that's it. They can get out of any contract if they want to. Yeah,
for sure. Again, it's just to make them stop, and maybe slow them down, and maybe I guess you can.